To the developing story in Libya, where diplomats from the US, the European Union, the African Union, the Arab League, the UN and others have met in Rome to try to bring peace to Libya. They called on Libya's rival factions to sign a unity government deal on Wednesday, proposed by the United Nations. The coastal African nation has been gripped by violence since then-President Moammar Gadhafi was ousted and killed in 2011. CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg has been following the Rome's talks and has more.
The U.S. and Italy, co-hosting the talks, said the UN plan is the best option for Libya, that it's the best way to ensure the country doesn't descend into further chaos. Libya right now has two rivaling parliaments, the General National Congress based in Tripoli, which is a loose alliance of militias including Islamists, and the internationally recognized House of Representatives, which the GNC overran last year. It's now operating out of Tobruk in the east. The international community fears this divide and the tension, unless resolved, will create a power vacuum filled by ISIL, also known as Daesh.
We cannot allow the status quo in Libya to continue. It is dangerous for the viability of Libya. It is dangerous for Libyans. And now, because of the increased presence of Daesh purposefully migrating there, it is dangerous for everyone.
The UN plan was agreed to in principle back in October. It calls for a unity government within 40 days and a 9-person presidency council, which would appoint a new cabinet, a new oil chief, and would have the power to authorize outside assistance to help fight against ISIL, which has been gaining a foothold in the Libyan city of Sirte. The international community is calling on the Libyan factions to sign the deal on Wednesday in Morocco. The problem is, last week, the two parliaments reached their own deal without the UN. They met secretly in Tunis and announced a, quote, declaration of principles, namely a committee to appoint a new prime minister and another committee to review the constitution. The international community says that's not enough, that there's too much at stake. Libya is just a few hundred kilometers from Europe's shores. A stronger hand for ISIL there could lead to a refugee crisis like the one we've seen coming out of Syria. There's also the concern that the oil-rich country's reserves could get into the wrong hands. Now, the UN envoy for Libya has told the Security Council in New York that Libya is, quote, in a race against time, and he's hoping that an internationally backed unity deal may help stop the clock. Roee Ruttenberg, CCTV in Washington.